helping you find your happiness. 7 things to avoid if you want people to like you. Today, we are considering a topic that's crucial for building strong relationships and making a great impression. We're going to explore 7 things you should avoid if you want people to like you. Now, I know what you're thinking. Shouldn't we focus on what to do rather than what not to do? Well, sometimes knowing what to steer clear of can be just as valuable as knowing what actions to take. So let's get us started. First up, avoid constant negativity. We all have bad days, but if you're always complaining or focusing on the downside, it can be draining for those around you. Instead, try to maintain a balanced perspective. When you catch yourself about to complain, pause and ask if there's a more positive way to frame the situation. For example, instead of saying, "This traffic is terrible," you could say, "This gives me a chance to listen to my favorite podcast." Next, steer clear of interrupting others. It's a common habit, but it can make people feel like you don't value their thoughts. Practice active listening by giving others your full attention when they are speaking. Wait for a natural pause before adding your input. This shows respect and makes people feel heard. Now, before we continue, I want to give you a little teaser. Coming up, we'll discuss a behavior that might surprise you, something you might be doing without even realizing it's pushing people away. Stay tuned, because this one could be a game changer for your relationships. Moving on, our third point is to avoid dominating conversations. We've all met that person who turns every discussion into a monologue about themselves. Don't be that person. Aim for a balance in your conversations. Ask questions, show interest in others, and give them space to share their thoughts and experiences. A good rule of thumb is to try and speak about 50% of the time in a one-on-one conversation. Fourth, avoid being overly critical. Constant criticism, even if well-intentioned, can make people feel attacked and defensive. Instead of pointing out flaws, try offering constructive feedback when appropriate. For instance, instead of saying, "Your presentation was really boring," you could say, "I think your presentation could be even better if you had included some real-world examples." Now, remember that surprising behavior I mentioned earlier? Here it is. Avoid oversharing, especially when you're just getting to know someone. While openness is generally good, dumping your entire life story or deepest secrets on someone too soon can be overwhelming. It's like skipping the first few chapters of a book. It can leave people feeling confused and uncomfortable. Build trust gradually by sharing appropriately based on the depth of your relationship. Sixth on our list is avoiding gossip. It might seem like a way to bond, but research shows it often backfires. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who gossip are perceived as less trustworthy and less likable. Instead of talking about others behind their backs, focus on positive topics or discuss ideas rather than people. Lastly, avoid being unreliable. This means showing up on time and following through on commitments. Flakiness can seriously damage relationships. If you say you'll do something, follow through and do it. If you can't, communicate clearly and as early as possible. Reliability builds trust, and trust is the foundation of any good relationship. Now, let's wrap this up with some practical advice. Start by focusing on 1 or 2 of these points at a time. Pay attention to your behavior in social situations and make small, incremental changes. Remember, it's not about being perfect, but about making a conscious effort to be more considerate and likable. Also, keep in mind that while avoiding these behaviors is important, it's equally crucial to cultivate positive traits. Be kind, show genuine interest in others, and practice empathy. These qualities, combined with avoiding the behaviors we've discussed, can significantly improve your relationships. Before we go, I want to emphasize that being likable isn't about changing who you are at your core. It's about being the best version of yourself and treating others with respect and consideration. By avoiding these 7 behaviors, you are creating space for more positive interactions and deeper connections. Until next time, take care and remember, small changes can make a big difference in how others perceive you. Let me know in the comments which of these you find most challenging, or if you have any other tips to add. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on personal development and happiness, and click on the notification bell so you get notified of our next post. Thanks for watching.